Guys, welcome to another These Puzzles Broke Stockfish. And while you might see that, let's say for the first puzzle there is mate and sex, as we go on in this video, puzzles will become more and more difficult for Stockfish to solve, and in the end you will see one that will blow your mind. So let's start with the first one. So here it's quite easy. I want you to try and solve it. The first move is kind of weird, but at the same time it makes a lot of sense. The first move is to play Rook F1. And the idea is, now black are in complete Zugzwang and the only piece they can move is this pawn on G4. So they play G3. And now white play Knight F5. And now the point is, guys, and this is why we put the Rook on F1. So basically, we want to lock this king from escaping through F file. Let's say we put our rook on E1, I'll show you what the idea is. So now if G2 is played, Knight G3 is a checkmate. And if King G2, we play Knight E3, and if our rook was somewhere, let's say on E1, on D1, on C1, the king would have escaped and black would have won the game, because they have just bunch of pawns on G-H file. But our rook is on F1, and now king has to go back to H1, and now we play Rook C1 back. Basically delivering another Zugzwang, as the only move black can play is G2. And now, you know, as my coach liked to say, we basically put the pieces to our starting squares, kind of starting squares, to set up and prepare for a new game. We play Knight D1, and the point is, again, black are in Zugzwang, and the only piece they can move is what? You're right, it's Knight. And Knight attacks our rook on C1, but unfortunately, Knight F2 is a checkmate. Let me know in the comments if you are able to solve the first puzzle, as we go on to puzzle number 2. Black have a huge chunk of pawns. A7, D2, E3, F4, J6, macaroni, bishop on D3, knight on D8, and generally such positions would be considered absolutely lost for white, but they are escaping troubles as they have absolutely insane threats. Try to pause the video and try to find the first move. The first move is Rook E7, quite obvious one, check. King F8, D7. Now the point is, if D1 queen, Rook E8 is winning by checkmate. So King G8, King wants to escape through H7, Rook E8, King H7, Rook D8. And now, guys, the following solution will just blow up your head. Because black promote, sack the rook, King H8, now D8, King H7, Queen C7, and look at this. Now the point is, if king goes to J8 or H8, Queen G7, so that's the maneuver that you gotta keep in mind. And look what computer says it's a draw, but it's not. King H6. So you saw for a while it said like 0-0. King H6, Queen F4, King H7, Queen H2. Now if Queen H5, guys, basically protecting from check, now this H5 square would be blocked by the queen, and now white are able to basically deliver a checkmate on G7. Doesn't matter if king goes back or forward, it's still a checkmate on the same G7 square. We play Queen B8, King H7, Queen A7, King H6 again, because G7 is a checkmate, but here we don't play Queen G7, we play Queen F3. The point is King H5, Queen H3 is a checkmate. King goes back to H7, Queen H3, and now we have this queen on light squares. And this is what wins the game for white pieces. Now again, Zugzwang, Queen A8, Queen H3, and now again, some sort of Zugzwang. This, Queen F4, Queen C7, Queen F7, Queen G6. Checkmate, yeah, that was kind of difficult, I know, but it's a nice puzzle to have, like those geometry, like, you know, he's moving ba-bam, and another round. And that's just so beautiful. Like, black had so many pieces and they ended up being with only king and pawn, and it was all forced. And this puzzle, guys, I think it's very important for you. It's a study, and you might ask like, all right, I mean, white can just promote. What is stopping white for promoting? But guys, it's not that easy. Let me show you. Bishop e8, and now white play b7, bishop b5, b8, and this is actually a draw. Even though computer gives, I mean, 1.7 advantage, guys. That's not a winning advantage. And in this case specifically, let's say white play king e4, king h2. That's only a draw because black set up a fortress and can move their king back and forth, and white are not able to get any progress. White win due to king c5, and the winning move is actually quite, you know, you don't really understand the idea at first. Like, you know, if you give me this puzzle, I won't be able to solve it. Bishop goes to g6. Now again, b7, b8 doesn't guarantee a win, as bishop goes to d3 to f1 and completes this maneuver on h3. So we first play king d4. We try to avoid this bishop getting to f1. Bishop e8, once again, bishop b5, bishop f1, bishop h3 idea, trying to set up a fortress. We play b7, bishop b5, b8, rook. Not queen, because after queen, bishop f1, and the same thing happens. As here, king takes, and white are not able to take this due to a stalemate. So bishop f1, rook b1, king g2, king f3, bishop c4, rook b4, and now white are chasing this bishop, and they defend the bishop on h2. Bishop goes to c8, rook h4, bishop d7, king f4, and now white are able to take this pawn. But guys, the solution is insane. King f2, rook g4, and now you're like, wait, black are winning. Bishop g4, king g2, my pawn promotes, and you can't protect this bishop. But what's happening here is bishop g1, and white end up taking this pawn on f3, and they end up winning the game. Once again, very tough puzzle to solve, but it's very important for you to kind of know the patterns and in what positions there might be some fortresses, because guys, it's not a rare occasion when in the games you might set up some fortress, and this was one of the examples of such positions. Now, next puzzle, guys, very interesting one. White have basically queen, knight, king is kinda just nowhere, you know. It looks like white should be winning, right? But it's not that easy again. Let's say white played the most obvious knight of 1, and as you might see, the bar just went down a lot. And the point of that is that after e3, let's say knight e3, there is takes, king g2, king e2, and rook e1, and black are actually winning the game due to basically promoting, and basically trading queens on queen f2. So what happens is, let's say queen e3, let's play it with check, right? But this is just a stalemate. So in the first move we gotta make is not knight f1 check, not knight g4 check, but knight d5. And you might ask, what's the difference? Let's say play king g2, queen f2 check. So e3 is the only move. Now I want you to try and find the winning move here. It's very interesting. It's not knight e3 once again. It's not queen f3 obviously, because it leads to actually a losing position. It is queen f4. And what's the point? The point is, after queen d5, queen f3, king g2, queen f2 is a checkmate. So we calculated that. What if queen f4, just trading queens? I mean, black are up a rook, they should be winning the game. No, that's wrong, because black are in zugzwang after bishop g2, knight e2 is a checkmate. So what happens after queen g3? And that's kind of final consideration. Takes, and now guys, knight f4. And no matter what black move, either g2, knight h3, or bishop g2, knight e2. And if black decide to play bishop g2, the point is after queen g5, it's a stalemate. White play knight c3, and they're threatening to take on e2 and deliver checkmate, so queen f4, knight e2 is a checkmate. And if bishop f1, queen g5, bishop g2, knight e2 is again a checkmate. Now next puzzle, and that's a fascinating one. I saw it on Chess Vibes channel. Shout out to him for showing such an insane puzzle. It's insane. I mean, white can steal castle, and that's what saves them. So the point is, black are about to promote 3 queens on the first rank, but white are still winning. So g4. So if king goes to g6, rook g7, king h6, bishop g5. But unfortunately, some dummy came up with en passant rule, and now f take g3 happens. We castle, and after king g6, rook g7. The point is king h5. We play f7, c1, rook h7, king g6, f8, knight, checkmate. If rook g7, king h6, which is a better option, bishop g5, king h5, f7, a1. f8 queen takes, b1. So they promoted 2 queens, but it's not enough. After bishop c1, white are simply winning the game after they trade queens off the board. Once again, kinda interesting puzzle, which insanely turns out that white are winning the game. I'm not sure, let's say in the game g4, castle, and then rook g7. Yeah, it's probably findable, but it's just, you know, absolutely mind-blowing position to be in. Next, guys, this is more of like checking what chess talent you might have. This puzzle is given to many people. I remember I was probably in chess school when I was young, maybe 12, 13 years old, and coach showed me this, and he was like, alright, what pawn are you capturing here? You gotta stop all the pawns. What move are you playing? You probably should consider either queen b3 or queen d3. The point is, queen b3 is actually not that good, because after d2, oh my goodness, you see, all the pawns are being taken. Because after d2, what happens is, white are tied to protecting this d1 square, and if queen c2, a2. And now the point is, on next move, black will promote, and queen c3 d1, or yeah, d1, and there's nothing that white can do. So in the starting position, of course, once we analyzed it, it's kind of easy to understand what the solution is. So queen d3. The point is, after c2 we don't take here, because c1 is promotion, we play queen c3. Now if a2, queen b2, we block the pawns and we win the game. And if, let's say, I don't know, b2, queen c2, again there is no way to win, and white are stopping the pawns and white win the game. And now we're getting to interesting ones. So in this position, black are up a queen for bishop and knight, but they unfortunately are not able to win this game. And you can pause the video and try to solve this mind-blowing, insane puzzle, which starts by playing knight e4. And you might ask, what's the point? I mean, the point is, if he takes e4, bishop e1 is a checkmate. So some people in bullet might, oh, I'll take the knight, what's this bozo doing? But no, you can't take the knight. So what happens after king h4? After king h4, we play knight g3, and if queen a5, once again, some bozo will take the bishop and will be like, oh, I am up a bishop, it's a blunder, as you might see, knight f5 is a win. And after f take g3, guys, that's insane, bishop b6. And now black are not able to make any progress, and it is only a draw, queen a1, bishop g1, queen g1, and unfortunately the game ends up in a draw. And one more line to analyze after knight g3. To stop this f5 checkmate, black play queen f8, but once again bishop f1 takes, and now crucial, unbelievable, absolutely insane, bishop f2, and once again it is a draw. And last puzzle, which you're seeing on the thumbnails, that's one, I think I showed it before, but you know, it's just absolutely fascinating how it's all up locked here for white, and they can't do anything, but it only seems like that, as here white have actually winning plan. First, we bring our rook to c1, so this king e1, rook e2, king d1, rook e1, and you're like, alright, did white actually make any progress? Yes, they did. As now rook c2. The point is, if one of this pawn takes, this fortress is being basically broken, and white will break through b4 or d4, doesn't matter, and then the pieces will come out. King b5, king c1, and now queen a2. And you might ask, what's the idea? I mean, black are just promoting a queen. But it's not that easy, as now the only piece that can move is king, and basically white end up promoting a queen, and of course will end up checkmating something like king c8 or b8, checkmate. So yeah, kinda interesting episode. Probably most of you have seen all these puzzles, but I think it's very important to kinda take a look at them from time to time, because in some moments they can actually like kinda develop your creativity, and it's very important when you're playing chess. So hope you enjoyed it. If you have some interesting puzzles to show me, let me know in the comments and I'll check them out. Again, see you in the next videos. Have fun. Bye bye.